Okay.
Hi, this is Henry,
And this is Ellie.
and we are in Woodstock, New York.
Yeah, we are. We actually spent the day at Woodstock Farm Animal Sanctuary and the town of Woodstock, and it's just so beautiful, but really, really cold today.
Yeah,
And we are staying overnight. We're at some cottage, bed and breakfasty type spot, and we thought we'd do a video tonight for all of you. We are going to do a court card couple compatibility interpretation video. I know that's a mouthful.
yes. Just to give a background, we're doing this just for kicks. We if you remember correctly, we did our court card couple examples a while back. We requested that people commented in the comments down below to give us requests, but clearly we haven't explained the system well enough.
Well, first of all, let's talk about what court cards are.
Yeah.
So the court cards are what I would call the people cards. They are representative of people. They can represent characteristics of people as well as astrological signs. And what else did you want to share?
For me, the court cards also represent sort of types of actions because they represent people. They more accurately they kind of certain behaviors. So I find they're kind of active energies in that sense.
Yeah, they can definitely represent energies. So if not literally a person, they can represent characteristics to embody and take on. But what we're going to focus on is based on birth dates. I was going to say astrological attributions, but more specifically your birth dates. What two people are like together as a pair. And for kicks, we're going to offer that to you all. And so feel free to send us a message or just leave a comment and say your birth date and your love interest birth date, and we'll happily tackle interpretations of your compatibility with this person through the court cards as a medium of interpretation.
Just as a disclaimer, this is for light entertainment purposes only.
Yes, for kicks.
Do not make life decisions based on our info, just because this is just by your sun sign only, pretty much. That's not taking your whole thing into consideration.
Yeah, because a sun sign is only one part of so much about astrology, by the way. But, okay, so we are going to start by being the guinea pigs and show as an example ourselves through the tarot and what we are like. So I am, based on my birth date, the Queen of Cups, which is astrologically the last 10 degrees of Gemini and the first 20 degrees of Cancer. And I was born on the summer solstice, June 21st, so I am right on the cusp of Gemini and Cancer. So therefore, I am the Queen of Cups.
And, I was born basically right at the opposite end of the calendar to she is. So I was born just before the winter solstice. And so I am the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Discs, because I am the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius. And the Queen of Discs is also the first 20 degrees of Capricorn.
Alright, so just to let you know, clearly he's a male, and he just referred to himself as a queen. So generally, queens are females, and kings are males, and knights are males.
Yeah.
But it is possible for a queen to be a male or for a king to be a female. So this is one way
of doing it.
Yeah. All right, so let's start doing our interpretation. Do you want to start?
So, let's just describe each card in general terms before we then go on to how the things sort of interact. So the Queen of Discs, or the Queen of Pentacles, she is a female leader. She's a strong, solid rock and a source of stability for people. She is comfortably at home, either as the head of a company or the head of a household. She embodies kind of Mother Nature, that nurturing person to people, not in a very necessarily emotional way, but in a very physical. Like, she will keep your body healthy. She will keep your health. You know, she will take care of you really physically in that sense, and keep you secure. So the Queen of Cups.
Actually, would you do your interpretation of the Queen of Cups?
Okay, well, the Queen of Cups, to me, as I said in a previous video, I see her as a social butterfly. She acts as a host to social circles. She's a very motherly type of person because she has a lot of Cancer energy in her, and so people tend to love her to bits because she's very nurturing in a very emotional way. She's very charming. She knows how to kind of like compliment people that really, if said in a very negative light, it's like flatter people's egos in a nice way. She's good at giving compliments.
I've noticed that you do take on the fusion perspective of Gemini and Cancer with your interpretation of the Queen of Cups.
Yeah, because as a Gemini, she's very all about communication, and she has that wateriness to her, which gives her that emotional slant towards communication.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to start with my interpretation on how the two would mingle, and through that I'll give my perspective on their characters as a whole. So the Queen of Discs and the Queen of Cups are very feminine cards. They're very feminine court card people. The Queen of Discs is earth, and the Queen of Cups is water. Both are feminine elements. And I do think that as a pair, they have a lot in common because of all that feminine energy. I think also, for me personally, I feel that the Queen of Cups has a lot of similarities to the Priestess, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Discs, or the Queen of Pentacles, has a lot of parallels to the Empress. And both are aspects of the Divine Feminine. So they both share a lot of feminine energy, and what I mean by that more specifically is that they're very feeling. So they have that, because feminine energy is very receptive, and so they feel a lot. And so they share that sensitivity with each other, and I think that that can be a good thing. They can understand one another and share in that aspect.
Yeah.
And I feel like you wanted to mention something, no?
I have something to add, but wait till you finish first.
So I think that they're both also nurturers, but I feel that the Queen of Pentacles embodies more of that word than the Queen of Cups. She's more of a feeler, and the Queen of Pentacles is more of a nurturer. I think that the Queen of Pentacles offers something to the Queen of Cups because she's very sensitive, and she's actually, another thing I wanted to point out, they're both very motherly because, as I said before, they're both very nurturing characters. The Queen of Pentacles is also able to be very practical, obviously because she's earth, so she can manage not just home life and being motherly and nurturing and having relationships and feelings, but she can also get to work, manage things, be a leader, and so she can provide some sturdiness for the Queen of Cups, I think. So the only thing that I think would be troublesome is that maybe they're too similar, but I do think that they are a good complementary, not complementary, they're a good couple that are compatible, I would say, overall, because they have a lot in common, actually. I don't think that it's overall a problematic thing. I do think it's a positive thing. I'll say more if I think of more, but do you want to go on from here?
Just so I would just like to add on her.
Sorry about that.
Just like to add more on her comment on the fact that the priestess, I mean, the Queen of Cups has much priestess energy, whilst the Queen of Discs has, is an empress. You can see already then that the priestess, she can be quite, she's very fluctuating because she represents the moon. So she can have these sort of really intense highs and also intense lows. Whilst the empress is a lot more relaxed, she's comfortable. And,
Whoa! Sorry about that.
That's books.
Okay, I'm just going to hold
it.
Speaking of instability.
Yeah, perfect timing. So the again, the Queen of Pentacles gives that kind of that stability to the Queen of Cups, because she has that. She tends to get influenced by external emotion a lot in because she is that watery nature in a way. I would like to add that although she gives a balancing influence to her, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, she can sometimes be a bit dry in the way she approaches things. She can be very blunt, being very earthy, and she doesn't necessarily consider your emotion to how you feel when she tells you stuff, when she sometimes criticizes you. Whereas the Queen of Cups, she can soften the Queen of Pentacles in some ways. The Queen of Pentacles can sort of learn from the Queen of Cups. It's like, how to approach people in a more friendly manner, and not so as a matter of factly.
Yeah, I like that point, and I think also that elementally, water and earth really mix well together, and water can loosen and dissolve earth.
Yeah.
And the thing about earth is that can be problematic when there's a lot of earth, especially an imbalance of that, is that it just gets too stiff. So that combination can be beneficial.
Just adding to the analogy of being too stiff, being so much earth can be a lack of movement.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like pouring water into soil. You kind of add that little extra fertileness, and so it gives the Queen of Discs room for growth in that sense. You mentioned. Excuse us.
Yeah.
You mentioned how there is a weakness to this couple. I see it as they could be too passive, because they're water and earth. They sometimes go with the flow a bit too much. They don't have that energy to cope with sort of intense environments where you have to move really quickly. Compared to like a wands or swords couple, these two take things really steadily, and I guess in a relationship context that can be a good a good vibe to have. Some might not see it to be terribly exciting. Especially if you like that intense high.
My stomach won't stop making noises.
Speaking of intense highs, we had a lovely dinner today, so stomachs are reacting to it.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't expect any sort of passionate, intense romance between these two, or intellectual conversation, this type of thing. This is just I don't know, quite a mild but stable relationship.
I don't know if I agree with that. They're both with all that feminine energy, there's a lot of emotion there.
Well, emotion, but not necessarily passion, if that makes sense.
You're talking to someone who has trouble distinguishing between the two.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, maybe that's something to discuss later. That's a whole other topic. Yeah. All right. So that's our interpretation of these two as a couple. And I just want to add that primarily the Queen of Cups is Cancer, and primarily the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. So it's actually more specifically, as I had mentioned before, I think the last 10 degrees of Gemini and the first 20 degrees of Cancer, and then the Queen of Pentacles is the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius and the first 20 degrees of Capricorn. Chances are, if you're a Capricorn or Cancer and your love interest is Capricorn or Cancer, one or the other, then we just described you, probably. So yeah, if you want to submit your birth dates, your sun sign would help, your astrological sign would help, but more specifically, if you gave us your birth date and your love interest birth date, then we could do what we just did for ourselves for you. All right, so hope you found this entertaining.
Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to doing this for you guys.
All right, bye.
Thank you.